Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television and Network. My name is Ekpo Temple. Today, the conversation will be centered around the English Premier League title race and how it has taken a dramatic twist. Now, this is the reason Arsenal are chasing the first league title in 22 years. Have led a 2-goal lead against Wolverhampton Wanderers. The team that started the day bottom of the table, and as predicted by many pundits that Arsenal once again bottled the lead. Is this the moment that defines Arsenal's season? Well, that question will be answered in the course of the show. Meanwhile, it was a beautiful night in the UEFA Champions League as we saw the conclusion of the first leg of the knockout phase, drama, comeback, own goal, and other fairy tale written in Arctic Circle. And all of this we'll talk about today on the show. Thank you for joining us. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll do justice to every other discussion here. But like I said, our center discussion will be on the English Premier League and the UEFA Champions League. All right, welcome back from that break. If you don't join us, it's still Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network. Kingsley Emmanuel is in the studio with me this evening. Kingsley, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Nice to be here.
All right, let's start with our top stories. Yesterday, in the Nigeria Premier Football League, what should have been a competitive match day 22 fixture between Kwara United and Rivers United at the Kwara State Stadium, what stadium also known as the Rashidi Yakini Membo of the Indian Stadium, erupted in chaos. Violence came upon Rivers United after they scored a dramatic late equalizer through Davis Shulumade. Instead of full-time analysis and post-match reaction, the evening ended in disorder. Report confirmed that match officials were attacked. Visiting players were prevented from leaving the stadium. Rivers United General Manager Okepa Luku was assaulted big time. Supporters gained access to restricted areas, and match officials and Rivers United officials were reportedly held hostage for hours. Now, the Nigerian Football Federation, the Nigerian Premier Football League Board, has responded swiftly and heavily too. The sanction, Kwara United have been charged with breaching the Nigerian Premier Football League framework and rules. For one, failure to provide adequate security, failure to control their supporters, assault on match officials and Rivers United officials, holding officials hostage, bringing the game into disrepute. The penalty is 1, 3 million for security and crowd control failure, 2 million for assault, 1 million for unsporting behavior, 1 million for holding officials hostage, 2 million as compensatory costs, and a total of 9 million. But that's not all. 3 points and 3 goals deducted. Remaining home matches moved away from Ilorin to the MK Abiola Sports Arena. Directive to identify and prosecute the culprit. 48 hours granted to the team to appeal for any club already battling relegation. Kingsley, this could be very devastating. So the first question, one is poised to ask is this firm discipline necessary to protect the league, or has the NPFL pushed Kwara United closer to their relegation?
I think for me, let's take a look at the discipline at this point in time. I think it's really a huge one, at this point in time. You talk about 9 million naira, 3-point deduction, and 3 goals can really weigh a team down. All right, that can make a team go on relegation. Can also make a team not to win a title, to say. So for me, I think the punishment is a huge one, but I think that is what, of course, is supposed to be done at this point in time to make sure that, things like this, of course, do not continue in the Nigerian Premier Football League. We've always been talking about fans violence, fans, assaulting match officials and players and coaches and all of that. This one that happened, of course, yesterday was very, very disappointing, from the fans of Kwara United. And this is one thing, of course, we've been clamoring for. This is one thing we've been talking about. Why is it that MPFL teams find it difficult to provide adequate security during a games? Why? Because you go to the stadium, you don't even find one security man or security. Yeah, you don't even find any of them. All right. So it's you have to say why are they, of course, running the club or probably the league, that way. It's very, very disappointing to see. Like what happened yesterday, if there was adequate security men on ground, I don't think the injury the injury on the Okekpaluku wouldn't have actually been that much from what we saw yesterday, because blood was running from, I think, his eyes, or something. That was very, very severe. And this man is a huge stakeholder, of course, in the Nigerian Premier Football League. So, for me, I think if the MPFL clubs, try as much as can to see how to provide adequate security during games, this will not be happening. If possibly you have let's say up to 20 or 10 security men, of course, in the stadium. Whenever you see a fan running, maybe after a referee or maybe a coach or whoever, the security men immediately grab that fan, just like what we see happen in the Premier League. All right? Before you see a fan run from the stand, maybe getting, you will see like 5 security men running after that person. So tell me how the person will have the opportunity to go and maybe beat somebody or throw a stone or whatever. So that's the thing. We are not really running a professional league. Sorry to say this, in Nigeria. We are not really running a professional league in Nigeria. The way we do things, the way we do things here, not up to standard. You don't have adequate security men, of course, in the stadium. Fans do not. Sometimes they troop in. Sometimes even when they come to cause trouble. They come to cause problem. So what's the problem? Is it that we're playing street football? That's what it looks like. So for me, I think, we have to look for means to elevate the professionalism in the league, because it is really something that, will not take us anywhere. These things, whenever it happens, it keeps on denting the image of the league. And tomorrow we'll say, oh, the MPFL is not well recognized. How will the MPFL be recognized when fans keep on beating match officials and beating team managers, and all of that every day? So for me, I think the punishment is very good. 3 points. When 3 points is deducted, I think the MPFL, they are even more particular about deducting points this season, and it's good. When they deduct 3 points from you, you know that definitely to take you down, and 3 goals. So you know that it will take you down. This time it's not just monetary fines alone. Point deduction is also involved. So, but even at that, you still hear things like this, still happening. You ask yourself, how would this be called? Because if we continue like this, the league, of course, will not be in a good shape. Throughout this season in the Premier League, how many times have you heard that, a fans maybe ran out of the stand and came out and beat a coach, or probably beat a center referee? How many times have you heard that in the Premier League? How many times have you heard that? But in the MPFL, we've heard about 5 times alone this season. Clubs every day are being fined huge amount of money. I don't know if the MPFL the MPFL board on the other side are even happy putting up this fine so that maybe they can get returns, at the end of the day. So that's the thing.
Let's talk about violence. On the violence itself, what does this incident say about crowd control and stadium security standards in the MPFL? Because you mentioned 5 instances where we have seen violent act, and that has pushed the board to push, finding and all that. So do you think that this rubs up on the standard of the MPFL in terms of crowd control?
Definitely. All right. It rubs off on the image of the league. People would not really, raise the league, or probably want to put the league of a high standard. Why? Let's even come back home first of all. When things keeps on happening like this, like an ordinary football fan, okay, I heard about Rivers United for a very long time. I've been hearing it on radio. Let me go to the stadium
and watch.
And you have, because, the other day they beat somebody in the stadium. Why? Do you think, should I go or should I not go? That's the thing we're saying here. So at the end of the day, some fans will be scared of going to the stadium. I don't want to be beaten. Maybe by the opposition fans. I don't want to be beaten. So at the end of the day, it further reduces the number of fans that go to the stadium to watch games. And when the fans are not there in the stand, how do the game, of course, become exciting? Because it's the fans that they bring the glamour. When the fans are on the stand, when chanting, hailing their team, that is when the game become exciting. I tell you, the fans has been in the Premier League. They've been one of the factors that have made the Premier League, that's very much influential. Okay, watch the Premier League without fans. Those reactions you hear from fans, those row, and all of that. That's why the MPFL is not exciting. No, you go to watch a game, highest you see maybe is, let's say, 50, 100 persons in a stadium of about 30,000 capacity. So how would that game be exciting? Even though the players are playing very good football on the pitch of play, but that fans glamour, that row, that beat, you hear from the fans, makes the game exciting and good for viewership on TV. So you're talking about the MPFL on TV, and the camera pound to the seat in the stadium, and all are empty. What's the excitement?
So should club bear full responsibility for?
Definitely, club should bear full responsibility for not, looking at how to curb this issue of fans always attacking, either a coach or a match official or whatever. The club should bear full responsibility. Yes, the MPFL are putting up the fine, but it shouldn't end there, because we've seen fines for so many years now. Sanctions, sometimes
sometimes suspended fines even.
Suspended fine, but it has not solved anything. The problem still continues. So what should we do to make sure that at least this is being curbed to the barest minimum at this point in time? I think for me, is for club to have, to look out for a way to put up adequate security. I think every season, this is a job of match commissioners, but sometimes they go there and they give them money, they go back home, and they don't even write anything that's important to tell the league board this is what is happening here, and all of that. The MPFL board should be able to come up with the fact that in every match day you must have so number of security men at the stadium. Else that game will not hold, and you'll be deducted 3 points. It's considered as walkover. If you don't have adequate security men, that if anything like this, of course, want to happen, they quickly attack it and be able to curb the situation. Because at the end of the day, you go to an MPFA game, you do not even find one security man, or let's say up to 5. It's bad. So when the fans are doing whatever they are doing, who is going to be there to maybe try to separate them or maybe stop them from doing those things? It's bad. So I think for me, the MPFL board should be more particular about MPFL teams, providing adequate security in every match day to make sure they look for a way to curb the situation. Else, we'll still continue to see things like this happening. You think sometimes this team, they even care about the money, 10 million and thereabout. They don't care. Some of them are government owned, they will pay. Maybe it's the point deduction they might be after, and all of that. And the goal deduction. But that money is not a problem. That's why you see this thing continue in the Nigerian Premier Football League.
Because I'm just wondering, you talk about if you spend how many security, for example, you need like 50 security, 40 security to man a stadium each game. And what is the security vote that as a club you will now be spending on match days? You have to play like 19 games at home and you have 19 away. So you ask yourself, okay, the 19 games I'm going to play, how much should we, of course, even the stadium, even the government or the owners, place money, premium on on security. But the thing is, do the club management utilize it for the purpose for which the money has been placed?
Yes,
that's I know, as part of their budget, they know that they need to control, but maybe they give it to the area boys to secure the environment. They feel that the area boys will be more better.
And it is still the area boys
that cause the problem. So I think that, like you said, I'm just reading from that perspective, there must be a certain number of police, in the stadium. We want to see them.
Yeah.
We want to be sure, regardless of your plans, let's be sure that, okay, we have anybody who comes to the stadium can see some mobile police officer, because there's something about security men. When you come and you want to make trouble, when you know that they're around, guys. Just believe, okay, you want to respect yourself, you are careful. That's what I'm saying. I used to watch games in Shark Stadium until when I discovered that there are guys who are bent on, they can track you. I mean, they can take your phones, harass you, and nothing will happen. Man, after sometimes I told myself I won't go there anymore.
Just like you asked earlier, how was this, rubber from the image of the league? Take a look at the Adoke Messi Stadium and where it is located. If a Rivers United is playing a game maybe at 4, and you know that game maybe will end maybe at 6 o'clock, you are scared of leaving the stadium and going back home. In fact, you're walking back home, you're scared.
Yeah.
Because of where the stadium is located.
Only to the route, to the road.
That's the thing.
Before you even get a bus.
And then you now talk about the issue of fans attacking the match officials and the rest of them. This puts more fear on people going down to watch Rivers United at the Adoke Messi Stadium. So these are the things we're talking about. We say is rubbing on the image of the league. It is the fans will be scared of going to watch the games. And when the fans are not there, how would the team make money? Sometimes we expect the fans to pay ticket fee to come watch the game. Yeah, if they are scared of coming to the stadium, how would the team make money? That's the thing. How would the league be glamorous? Maybe it's on TV. The fans are on the stand. It gives good picture, to the league. Oh, people are actually watching the MPFL. Take a look at the number of people in the stadium, and people will talk about it. So if things like this continue to happen, fans will not be excited. They will not have that confidence to go to the stadium because they know that if I go, it's either my phone is missing or I'm being beaten. So they are scared. Rather, I stay at home. What is the MPFL? What is the value? What am I gaining? You ask yourself, how, you see like a Premier League team. The other day, Arsenal were playing Wigan. Wigan fans were there to support. What are they even? What is the excitement about Wigan? That the fans have to pay money to come and watch their team. So you see, it is a traditional thing. The fans, they find it, lovely to come to the stadium.
And these games are played at night.
They are well taken care of.
They're played at night.
At night. You see? When Rivers United play a game by 8 a.m. Now somebody will go to the
other time in Nigeria where we used to see a team play game, in the night at the Masinga Stadium in Oyo, remember, Ibadan. After some times, after a crowd violence, we haven't heard that games were played in the night again. Even Remo Stars, even Eyimba Stadium. I've been in Eyimba Stadium where games are played in the night because it was a late game, But the thing I'm trying to portray is, can we be bold enough? Super Eagles play their games at night. I've seen the Super Eagles play it at about 11 o'clock in the night. In the Uyo Stadium.
Yeah.
The stadium was filled with activity, but you need to see the massive security that the state mounted that day. So I think that we know our problem, but maybe we're not ready to solve it yet. But do you think that 9 million naira fine and point deduction is justifiable?
I think it's justifiable. 9 million naira is huge.
So you're saying that deducting 3 points is not too harsh?
It's harsh. Like I said, deduction of 3 points can take you to relegation. It can also stop you from winning the league. So for me, I think it's a very huge fine, on Kwara United, at this point in time. Going forward, other team, MPFL team that, of course, know that such kind of thing, of course, could happen. We'll try most of the time to curb the situation. You know your fans as a team. You know your fans. You know what they are capable of doing, especially when the result does not go their way. Look for a way to tackle this issue. As a team, you must have a fan club. Oh, this is people.
Maybe they would have gotten a draw yesterday, and now they ended up losing that game.
No, they didn't lose. I think it was a 1-0 draw.
No, I'm saying that they would have gotten a draw. Okay. Maybe that's not the game that we deduct the point. They will deduct the point from them.
They will deduct their points. All right, they will deduct their points. So for me, as a team, you know your club. Get your fan club. Educate them. Let them talk to other fans coming to the stadium. All right. If the area boys around, try to talk to them. No, don't cause problem, because at the end of the day, this is the consequences, for us, and it can even make us not to be in the MPFL come next season, because if we're relegated, there's no how we're going to play in the MPFL. So I think at some point there should be fan sensitization, in as much as they also try most of the kind, of course, to also provide adequate security in the stadium to make sure that even though this want to happen, the security men will be in charge to make sure they, curtail the situation. So for me, there's a whole lot that needs to be done. The MPFL board needs to wake up on this. They shouldn't just sit down and be deducting points and goals and putting up fines. Don't that shouldn't they shouldn't end there. They should try to see how to talk to these clubs to see how they can sensitize their fans and look out for ways to cope this situation so that it doesn't bring embarrassment, of course, to the league. Because if they are bent on point deduction, fines, and all of that, at the end of the day, it will still be detrimental to the league, because when other teams, continue to behave this way, it robs us on the image of the league. And at the end of the day, the foreigners will not be able to buy our products here, or probably not want to know what we're doing, or even it may even scare away sponsors, at the end of the day. So there's a whole lot at this point in time.
I expect that during off season, like we used to see sometimes in Europe, the body, can create a special program where they call sensitize the fans, and go to these 20 clubs. Visit, if you say you want to visit 3 clubs in a day, 3 clubs in a week, you can achieve it. Okay, we're going to visit you in your stadium. Mobilize your fans. You should come to the stadium and then discuss with the board, maybe like a let's talk, a program. Go to our educational programs. Talk about this before the start of the league. Please don't do this. Don't do that. Talk. We don't create those forums. We don't create those avenues. Yeah. And maybe this is also what other people do sometimes. Or go to radio stations and the club organizes a program. The board is invited to come and as part of that training and education. But like I said, it's a whole lot to be done in the Nigerian Premier Football League. But it's not getting fun anymore because this is rubbing up on the image of the league and also affecting. And someone want to say you want to play there, if you're a foreigner, if they can deal with their own people like this, a foreigner will not be safe to play because they feel that, come on, I can be manhandled one day if I get to score against an opposition team. They can come after me and they deal with me big time, isn't it?
Definitely, of course. That's the reason why, of course, especially you talk about the fact that, sponsors are not finding it easy to even sponsor the league, because these are things that goes on and it's not good for public view. At the end of the day, people will not want to buy into the league due to the fact that things like this, of course, are happening. And then you talk about foreign players coming in, maybe having a foreign coach, to say at this point in time. So it takes a whole lot of, glamour, a lot of good things that are supposed to happen in the league. It takes them away. And it's not good. It's not good that I tell you that we find ourselves in this situation when it comes to do with the nature of the Nigerian Premier Football. That's why the other day I said it. Benga Legbele has been around for like 3 or 4 years now. I'm trying to see what he has really done for the success and the growth of the league in the space of time he's been on board. I'm really trying. Is it the prize money? Is it the prize money we're talking about, 200 million naira every season? For me, it's nothing to write home about, because even this club, the clubs in the MPFL spend more than that in a season. They spend more than that. So what has he really done to change the dynamics, to make the league look suitable? Is it the poor performance of MPFL teams in the continent, even in the last 3 seasons or 4 seasons he has been around? So these are things. What has Benga Legbele really changed? They talk about officiating, and all of that. We're still hearing the show of poor officiating in the league. So that is it. You measure success by impact. What has he done differently that have not been done in the MPFL for some time?
Okay.
So Benga Legbele, for me, yes, we've praised him trying to do 1 or 2 things, but for me, or what he has even attempted, the things he has tried to do, I don't see it looking very tangible and influence the league.
All right, we'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll talk club football, starting with the English Premier League. All right, welcome back from that short break. If you're just joining us, it's still Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network. Still have Kingsley here in the studio, and of course, we looked at the Nigerian Premier Football League. Very worrisome, times. We are crowd violence seems to be taking, the headlines on daily basis or every match day in the Nigerian Premier Football League, and that should not be. But the good thing is the league body, they're not also taking anything to chance. They have hammered Kwara United for falling prey of the framework that guides and governs the Nigeria Premier Football League. Away from that now, let's talk about the English Premier League, where we saw a game yesterday. Yes, it's midweek actions, Champions League playoffs across some centers, but there was a game that defined the nature of the title race, and a lot of people will tell you that they need to be afraid of bottom teams because they can cause upsets. Arsenal chasing their first league title in 22 years let down a 2-goal lead against Wolves. That team that started the day at the bottom of the table, Bukayo Saka opened the scoring early, and then Pero Henkapi made it 2-0 in the second half. At that point, it looks very comfortable for Arsenal. A lot of us think that more goals will come in. Arsenal will wrap up that one, but then they miscued. Football sometimes does not reward comfort. Wolves clawed back into that game. Hugo Benu called a very powerful strike there that gave them hope. And then in just a few minutes ago, there was a mix-up between David Raya and Gabriel Mahangalis. The ball deflected off Ricardo Calafori, and straight to the net it went. It ended up 2-2 against Arsenal. At 2 up down there, Kingsley, what exactly went wrong for the team chasing the title? Because when you lead 2 goals up against a team like Wolves, you would think that, come on, this is a good chance for us to go on and on and on, But Arsenal just got it all wrong at some point. Will you say it's tactical complacency or psychological fragility that caused them that draw yesterday?
I think it's based on psychology at this point in time, because if you look at it, the way Arsenal started the season is not the way they are playing currently. All right, it looks as if Arteta does not have any other thing, of course, to offer at this critical time. It also looks as if the boys are tired, somehow to see. Because take a look at that game yesterday. They played Wolves very well.
Yeah, they played, yeah.
They were leading in that encounter. Not until that late minute goal we saw from, Wolves, down there. For me, I think at this point in time, Arteta should be more particular about game management. It doesn't matter if you're playing a big team or not. Manage your game, manage the result, at this point in time. You don't let, things just go that way. Imagine, take a look at the way they were beating the Judah game. It was very painful. When they were at the verge of taking on 3 points home and see how they can extend their lead. In the 93 minutes, you conceded a lead goal. You can't just allow that kind of pressure, come in. It was the same thing we saw against Manchester United. All right, from the mistake, we saw those goals, coming in. So at this point in time, Mikel Arteta, he should be more particular about managing games and managing his results at this point, because it's a critical moment. If you take a look at it, they still have tougher fixtures, going forward. So if you don't start now to secure the point, and you have a team like Manchester City behind you, they have an outstanding game. It makes it more scary and more frightening at this point in time for Arsenal Football Club. You've been looking for the title for so many years. Arteta has been at Arsenal for 6 years now, fighting to win the Premier League. Every season he comes second, sometimes third. Why is it difficult to win the league? Now, this season you have every opportunity to maybe win the league freely. And now you're letting it slide. You're letting it slide. You drew against Nottingham Forest, drew at Brentford, lost to, I think, Manchester United. Now you're drawing against Wolverhampton. Teams that you're not supposed to even struggle with, based on your pedigree now, as a team. So it is really, really disturbing. What is the problem? Why is Arsenal finding it difficult to win the title, despite playing good football, looking like a team that can get the job done? But when it comes to the end of the season, or towards the end of the season, things start going bad. It looks like somebody's been hunting Arsenal or something. That's the thing. When you are at the verge of, oh, this is I've been looking for, it's time for me to grab it, and something happens to you and you missed it. So it's something that maybe they should go and evaluate to know what is happening. If it is Nigeria, they say go and do findings to know what is happening to you.
They're in the finals of the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
You play against Manchester City. So maybe that one they're sure of a title. In fact, they're in all fronts.
See, the end of 90 minutes before now see they're sure of a title.
Yes, but they're in all fronts, you know. But this result of Arsenal yesterday means that they've now dropped 7 points from winning position this year. Only Crystal Palace and West Ham have dropped more. For a title contender, that is not championship behavior. Now, here is the bigger twist. The title is no longer fully in Arsenal's hand, fully in code, because if Manchester City wins all their remaining games, including their home clash against Arsenal, they become champions. And we all know that the experience of Pep Guardiola when it comes to run-ins like this can be very valuable. Has a psychological advantage now shifted completely to Pep and his boys.
Yeah, you talk about the advantage. I think yes, it's now.
So Pep now knows that I win all my games.
Yes,
and that does it. And 10 games is easy to win.
Yeah, it's not really easy like that.
No, but Pep will tell you that yes, maybe not the same as they
are just regaining form. Especially if you look at their last 3 games. All right, they're just regaining form. You never can tell what will happen. I think this same Manchester City have. I think they have not the Newcastle to play. I think they still have they have Chelsea to play too. So there are also teams that can possibly hurt their pace. You know, so far it is not going to be a one-way traffic for them. They are going to struggle for it, and that's also the same thing I expect from Arsenal. Pick your points, take them home. Don't relent. They would have been about 10-point gap now, but drawing, and how can you be drawing at this part? You started winning when the season started.
Consecutively.
Yes, you started winning when the season started, and now they're supposed to crank things up. You're, putting up a draw.
Imagine if they have won like 5 matches on a row.
Imagine they have beaten Nottingham Forest the other day. Imagine they've beaten Manchester United. What about Brentford? And the Wolverhampton Wanderers yesterday, they're even suffering at the relegation zone. What is happening? I think, take a look at that equalizer yesterday. When they were even at the verge of, the referee was at the verge of ending that game. Why would they concede at that minute?
Maybe they're pressurized. Maybe pressure.
It seems like if, I'm looking at it as if they are not lucky enough. That's the thing. Why can't you just be lucky? That was even a deflection. He hit the bar and then hit the leg of
California.
Yes. So why would that happen? There's a lot of things that goes on with this Arsenal side for the past how many seasons. You ask yourself, what is really happening? Is it that the Arteta coach that is trying to make things happen, is he not lucky enough?
But no matter what happens, you can't sack a coach like Arteta to get which coach. Is there a coach better than Arteta right now elsewhere?
It all depends on the board, as it stands. You've been there for like 6 years, and the only cup Arteta has won, I think, is the FA Cup.
Yeah.
About 5 years ago. So what is the problem? Give us the Premier League. We're giving you the players.
So why Arteta might be a good coach? Do you think Arsenal lack leadership in the team? Odegaard, the captain, has not been playing. Bukayo Saka, the assistant captain, sometimes like yesterday, a lot is demanded. The captainship of a team matters so much. The likes of Terry Henry, Steven Gerrard, to mention big names captain, when they talk, they live up to expectation. Maybe Arsenal don't have that kind of captain. That could also be part of the reason, because you need a captain at this point, a playing captain, a captain that is always there, in the pitch of play, who can command the respect and they talk to players and players listen. Does Arsenal have such player?
You talk about captain Saka is there, and then you talk about it. You ask the fact that does he have that, commanding spirit? Does he really have that influence? I don't really think Saka has that. We used to see Odegaard, with the captain armband. He's another player, I think, for me, has that influence a bit, can control the team. I see Odegaard as a leader. Yeah, the way he plays, the way he carries himself. I see him as a leader. Well, at this point in time, I don't think we should even hang it on leadership or who is the captain. Does he have leadership quality at this point? It's about team play. It's about team play. If the players get it right on the pitch, you won't be talking about. You won't even care who is the captain or not. If they keep on winning their games, they won't even mention the captain. That's the thing.
That's why I like the Nigerian Premier Football
At this
League.
point in time, win your games.
By now, the management of the team would have come to tell the players, if you don't win, no salary for you.
Unfortunately, it's not done like that way.
Okay. We saw some games in the UEFA Champions League, and some of the results very frightening. We'll start with the first one we saw yesterday, and that's the fact that Newcastle United, swallowed Qarabağ 6-1. Bodo Glimt did so well against Inter 3-1. Club Brugge played a 3-0 draw with Atletico Madrid. Olympiacos lost there in Greece to Bayer Leverkusen. With the way the scoreline is, apart from Newcastle United, you cannot really tell that the game is done and dusted. In all the centers until the second leg encounters.
Yeah, we look forward to see what the second leg will bring. For Bodo Glimt, I tell you, they've been very fantastic. These Bodo Glimt, they've taken out giants in the UEFA Champions League, the likes of Manchester City, the likes of Atletico Madrid, and yesterday, surprisingly for me, they beat Inter Milan 3-1. I was very surprised with that scoreline. When I saw that, and you ask yourself, can Inter overturn that result at San Siro? That's another big question, because Bodo Glimt will just back the bus, and it will be surprising to you that Bodo Glimt beats Inter Milan in the playoff.
What the headline it will be?
I'm telling you the truth. So you say it's going to be a very huge one at this point. For me, so far so good. They're one of the surprising side in the Champions League.
Inter will have to score 3 goals.
Yes, which will be difficult for me. Bodo Glimt, they will also want to score
goals.
So it will be a difficult one, as it stands. We look forward to see, how it goes. For the game between Newcastle and Qarabağ, for me, I think that game is done and dusted. Newcastle they are playing away yesterday, so the next game will be at home just to get the job done. So that one is done. Qarabağ, they've tried. I think it's time for them to pack their bags and go back home. For Club Brugge and Atletico, it's still going to be a very strong contest, in the next encounter. So we look forward to see how it goes.
We look forward to see how it goes, but there will be games all on in the next couple of minutes now. Brian will take on Bologna. Dinamo Zagreb will battle Genk. Fenerbahce will host the Nottingham Forest in the second tier of club football. That's the Europa Cup. And PAOK FC will take on Celta Vigo. 9 p.m. tonight we see Celtic versus VIP Stuttgart. Lille will face Resta Belgrade, and then Ludogorets Razgrad will battle Ferencváros. Just as we expect Panathinaikos here in Greece to take on Victoria Plzen. So these are some of the games. The Conference League also offer some lovely knockout round playoffs. So keep our finger crossed on that particular one. And then many more. When we come tomorrow, we'll bring you some of these interesting results of these games played in the lower tier of European football. Many thanks for being part of the conversation here. We'll be back again tomorrow. Ekpo Temple is my name. Enjoy the rest of our programs on Atlantic Television Network. Bye-bye.